What is up, it's Figure Hunter. Today we're going to compare head-to-head the Suunto Run versus the Suunto Race S, because I think there's a lot to be considered and looked at between these two. So I wanted to talk about what are the primary differences for this $250 Suunto Run and the $350 Suunto Race S. If you're new to this channel, I test and track devices for the purpose of CrossFit or high-intensity interval training or dynamic weightlifting. I look at devices for their training tracking as well as their recovery and wellness tracking and their overall rigor and grit and things like that. And I'm really big into Suunto right now because I really do feel like they offer a high-quality device, a high-quality build and design and sleek look with some high quality sort of functional features at a really reasonable price. And these two are some of the best feature rich and reasonably priced devices on the market. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about what's similar, we're gonna talk about what's different, and we're gonna talk about what I think between the two. So without further ado, here is the two. Here's the Suunto Run on the right and the Suunto Race S on the left. You can see that they obviously have very similar things. Let's get my notes out. They both have a 1.3-inch screen. They're similar in weight, although the Suunto Race S is going to be heavier. The battery with always on display is about the same at 3.5 days. So 3.5 days for just always on display at the max brightness, as well as they're somewhat comparable in the GPS times. They both have the same size, except for I believe this is 45 millimeters and 46 millimeters. They are relatively the same sort of look and design to them. They both have 3 buttons. They both have the rotating crown. They both have touch screens, as you can see, and a primary set sort of like layout overall. They both have the same heart rate sensor, which we've looked at in the past, that is fine for monostructural stuff, but not fine for CrossFit or higher intensity interval training, just BTW between the sensors. They both have dual band GPS, so both offering the ability to connect and link to 2 satellites at a time. And the band quality you get with the Suunto Run is super high quality if you get the rubber latex version, and really cool design, and you get 2 of them with the nylon Velcro version. Same thing with the Suunto Race S. This is the titanium, but it looks similar to this when you get the band with the Suunto Race S, just stainless steel model. So there's a lot of similarities. The Run is $250. The Race S is $350. Now, what is different? The biggest thing with the Run, the Pro for the Run, is the Run, you save $100. So it's $100 cheaper at $250 versus $350. And the minor thing is that it's lighter. So that's a minor thing. And then it's also the screen's a little bit brighter. So you're gonna have a lighter and brighter screen at $250, but what are you missing on the Run versus the Race S? Well, you're missing, a few primary things. Number one, the metal casing. So the casing on the Race S versus the casing on the Run, it just feels real light, but plasticky, like a full plastic feeling, even though the bezel stainless steel on the Run. But you get like sort of like a metal, solid build, high quality feel for the Race S. So difference there. Primary difference is on the Race S, you get your maps. So you can download maps. They are pretty cool in how they zoom and pan. Sorry, let me get my Race S out of the way. But the maps are pretty legit, even though they don't have street markers, even though you can't do point-to-point, turns. So you would miss maps on the Run. So that's kind of a big deal, but I don't find myself using the maps that much. So maybe that's not a big deal for most of us, and it doesn't have the street names, and you can't point to a Starbucks and run your way there. The second thing you're gonna miss is on the Race S, the Resources tab. So the Resources is an all-day sort of body battery feature that's not on the Run. It'll track it all day, sort of rejuvenate at night and deplete. It's a really useful metric because it does show the impact of a busy day on your life. So it doesn't have the Resources on the Run. It just has it on the Race S, and that's a 24/7 physiological metric. So that's kind of a big deal. Some smaller things, you're not gonna have the HRV tracking widget on the Run. You'll have it on the Race S, but you won't have the HRV to be able to bounce down. You have to go to the app. They both track HRV at night. I just like that it's available on the watch. You're probably gonna get, this is probably a bigger one, On the Race S, because it is the big brother, it probably will get more upgrades and more feature sets if they are evolved and added. The Race S is likely to get more upgraded than the Run because it is more of their flagship level of watch. There's a slight difference to the OS, the operating system. There's a slight difference to how things work. So you can go scroll down and then you can scroll up for your tracking of fitness. You can scroll widgets, but this just has a rotating widget. It just has a little bit more expansion to the overall feature set of the OS. You can't connect to bike computers on the Run, so if you are somebody that uses power meters or foot pedals or those types of things, you can't do that on the Run. You have to only on the Race S. And there's no Suunto Plus on the Run. So if I was going to summarize it, if I was going to look at the two, between the two, for $150 more, you get a more premium feel, sort of solid build quality, the same battery life, the same screen size. You probably would get some more features as they get maybe updated. You have maps and you have a new physiological metric called resources that you would have available to you on the Race S. So if you were asking me my opinion between the Run and the Race S, $250 versus $350, looking at that sort of spread difference, I would probably pay the difference and go with the Race S just because it feels so much more solid. The Run is light, the Run is clean. So if money is a limiting factor with an absolute limiting factor, then the Run is a highly feature-rich watch with a beautiful screen and a good battery life for $250, which you cannot find. The next closest one is at $350 with some of the feature sets, as you saw in the final review for the Run. But I would go with the Race S. I think it's going to get possible more upgrades and tweaks. It has a really nice feel to it. It's the same heart rate sensor, and I just like the feel all around. So overall, that is the comparison for the Suunto Run watch versus the Suunto Race S. Is the Fit Gear Hunter. Thanks so much for watching.